You guys asked me a ton of questions about stuff that I got no idea about, and I think every platform has its place. Well, if you guys ask me about Amazon or Etsy, I'm here with my man Rich. How you guys doing? My name is Stan Banks from TShirts Hustle, and I help people start t-shirt businesses from home. Where you at? Oh man, he caught me off guard with that one. But like I said, we're about to learn a little bit about Etsy and Amazon right after the intro. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. Again, I'm here with my man Rich. I'm going to let him officially introduce himself and tell you where you can find him and a little bit about what he does.
All right, my name is Rich. You can find me at Hustle Ninjas on YouTube. I sell t-shirts for a living. Been doing it for the past 4 or 5 years, just from home or wherever you at. But for me, I'm at home.
Right.
But sell mostly on marketplaces such as Etsy, Amazon. As of lately, I've been dabbling into Shopify. Using Facebook ads, did some print on demand, dabbled into it, dabbled back out. But yeah, for the most part, selling t-shirts full time.
All right, so first and foremost, tell us a little bit how you got into t-shirt. Like, what was your story? Because everybody got a different story when it comes to getting into the industry.
All right, so before I was doing t-shirts, I was just pretty much doing graphic design. I did a whole bunch of nightclub ads, all that type of stuff. So I always did product for other people. I never actually used my design services for myself. Mm-hmm. So I've never created a product myself. So eventually I went to college, got out of college, and then I had to figure out a way to create my own products. At first, I bought a vinyl cutter. Mm. I got into the decal world. That was not for me. I took out a couple stickers and kept getting stuck to the back end. I was starting to get frustrated. I sold the vinyl cutter. And then probably a few months later, I forgot what the time gap was, but eventually I was like, man, I can make t-shirts. So I started making t-shirts. I didn't know you can use a vinyl cutter for t-shirts. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know. You had to go buy another one?
Yeah. I didn't know you just changed the media on it. I thought a vinyl cutter was just for decals. But eventually I bought another vinyl cutter, got myself a little heat press. And then my first month doing t-shirts, man, it was in August, and I was doing back to school t-shirts, and it just really took off. I'd have to dig into the numbers, but I know I did over 10 grand that first month. So it was that first realization, where I was like, man, it's something right here.
I agree with you. And I think that's one of the things that I tell a lot of people when they get started is that if you start and just share with the world what you do, t-shirts is something, and this is why I stuck. I've done a lot of different hustles, but t-shirts that one thing that you don't have to go out and sell, look for customers. I mean, I've done web design, I done graphic design, but in those industries, you always got to go find new customers. You might have some consistent people, but with websites, I always had to go find the next paying client and stuff like that. But t-shirts, man, you post it, you share it with people that you love or that you hang out with, and they literally will just the sales will just start to roll in, man.
The thing about it too is if something gets hot, it's easy to replicate something. You can make another t-shirt, the same thing, no problem. That's the most amazing part.
No, most definitely. So you got into t-shirts. Now, did you do Amazon or Etsy first?
I just did Etsy first.
Okay. Now, I have I've probably signed up for 5 different t-shirts, right? Every time I say I'm going to jump into, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to learn a little bit, but it's not what my heart is. And like you said, the decals, you figured out it wasn't your thing. And marketplaces for me weren't really my thing. So what advice do you have for someone who is just getting started? They want to use Etsy, but they really don't have any idea what to do or where to go?
Man, that's a tough one. But I really think something that a lot of people stumble with is trying to sell something that they like type thing. Instead of doing the research, going to dig up what people want. And sometimes you got to sell t-shirts that, sometimes you see designs online and you're like, man, that looks like crap.
Yep.
But you can see it selling thousands of times, and you're like, man, if that dude can do it, then I could do it. But then you don't end up doing it. So sometimes you just really got to put in the effort to do the product research first, instead of just scrapping up a design and trying to sell it without that whole back into it.
That's really, really interesting because I kind of had a different viewpoint on it, right?
Yeah.
And I make stuff that I like. Like I made this shirt. I don't care if I sell one or not, right? But I feel like birds of a feather flock together. So if I make something that I like, people who not people who like me, but people that are like me or have the same interests will come. But with marketplaces, I can see how that's a little bit different because you want to figure out what's selling and what's not. I did sell on eBay for a while, and you always go to the items that's sold. I used to sell computer parts, which is totally unrelated, but you want to figure out if something is even selling or not like that. So I definitely can understand that. Etsy has some horrible designs, but you just see the numbers of, how well some of these designs are doing. And I can't, at the end of the day, you got to go make the money. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. So what about Amazon? Like, how did you get into that?
I don't know. I think I just looked up like other marketplaces to sell on, but just to like touch on what you said, I agree with that too. I still like design stuff that I like, but it's exactly what you said. Like, since it's a marketplace, if people go on there to search for stuff that they want.
Right.
It's not necessarily, you can put your brand and whatnot on there, but for me, I use it a little bit differently than how everybody else do. But as far as Amazon, I just, I saw success in selling like on a marketplace, like on Etsy. So I just went on Google. I was like, marketplaces to sell T-shirts on. Like, so
don't reinvent the wheel, man. It's that simple. If you don't know, ask Google.
So just saw Amazon, saw Etsy. There's been a few other ones that I've like, went on and up. I know Etsy and Amazon like the top tier ones, so I just been sticking to those two.
Now, what advice would you give somebody that wants to get into Amazon? First off, is the advice even different?
For me, it's still the same, but it's easier for you if you wanted to sell a brand.
Okay.
So like, if you already had a big brand, you wanted to go on there because Amazon they just have so much more space on the web than as a marketplace than Etsy does. And then you could also do like fulfillment by Amazon. If you have like a whole bunch of inventory that you don't want to stock up, like, us being in like my home office and whatnot, I don't have that much space.
Right.
But if I had a whole bunch of shirts ready to go, I could send it to Amazon store there. When somebody purchases it, they handle everything else.
That's really, really interesting because someone I work with asked me about putting their brand on Amazon. I'm like, I wouldn't, because I feel like, as I look at, so I started looking for furniture, and I realized at that point that Amazon got some high ticket items on there I didn't even know about, right? Because you go in there to get some knick-knack stuff for the house or something like that, but there are some high ticket items, and I felt like Amazon would kind of like devalue a brand.
Yeah, I feel you on that too.
Because of just the atmosphere of what's on there. You will go on Amazon and spend a lot of money. Yeah. But not necessarily a lot of money on one thing up until I looked at furniture and I was like, yo, this is crazy. But so you think a brand could have some success on Amazon?
I think that's something you have to weigh out yourself. Right. Are you at a point where like you need that leverage and you've been putting your all into something and then you can't even scale up anymore, or you feel like you need Amazon to backpedal you a little bit, because I think, all right, so this one's getting a little off topic, but I know Whole Foods is like one of the easiest ones to get into, like as a brand, but they usually have like an exclusive thing going on, like you can only be in Whole Foods, but as like a seasoning or something, you might have a hard time like taking off without Whole Foods.
That makes sense. So you definitely got to weigh your options. So when it comes to selling on marketplaces in general, what are like 3 things that people should try to do along the way? Like, what are some things that you think contribute to your success?
All right, so 3 things you can do, right? So since it's a marketplace, first of all, they got to find your product. So your product has to be search engine optimized, like the keywords in it. Mm-hmm. So they have to type in the specific things to get to your product. So you kind of got to do the guesswork of understanding what they're going to look for. That's why I was saying like sell something that's kind of in demand or something that people want. But once they find your product, your actual design itself might need to be a good looking product for them to actually click on it, because you're going to be on a page with like 10 other people selling a similar t-shirt. So you might want to make sure you have the right design for that. Another third thing on top of that is you might want to make sure you get the good pricing or like competitive pricing. Right. It's like you don't want to sell yourself too short, but if you're selling a shirt that everybody else is selling for $20 and you're selling for $50, I don't know if you're gonna get
right. You definitely ain't got a shot. But that's real interesting because I personally believe in presentation. What I tell people is you got to display things in the way you want them to be seen, right? And in this case, if you're searching up a shirt, let's say, about ninjas, right? and your design isn't good, first and foremost, then they're definitely not going to click of it. But if it's not presented right, but at the same time, if you look at it, like, how can I make my design stand out? And that could be something as simple as like a red shirt, or you always got your stuff on a red shirt displayed. Yeah. So now they start to understand. And then one of the things that I suggest a lot of people do when they on marketplaces and stuff like that, and I want to know what your take is on it since you're a professional at it, but I would kind of hack, right? And what I mean by that is when I ship the shirt out, I want them on their next purchase to come directly to me. Yeah. So I would suggest people like put like postcards and stuff like that inside of their packaging. Is that even allowed? Because I really don't know, but that's just my thing. So I would have my own website, and I will want people to, once I send you that first package from Etsy where they take their fees, the next time I want you to know that you can come directly to the Gourmet Tea-Bar and pick up similar designs without actually going through the Etsy platform.
Yeah, so one way you can do that, so every marketplace is different, so the terms are a little different as far as like you referring them straight back to your website. But if you have a brand or your website, even if your website is just like you selling a whole bunch of random t-shirts instead of a brand, if the whole thing's like cohesive, like the logo itself, the company name, and then eventually, you could still have you could still have your Instagram like on your shop and whatnot, right? Like on Etsy or something. So if they click on your Instagram, it's your web link. But if everything looks the same, then you already gain that trust of like, oh, I can go to their actual website. And if you're selling like $1 cheaper or even the same price, then they're more likely to just go straight to you because it's building that trust.
Right. So that was kind of like my thinking. Like a lot of people who come to me and ask me, or, ask me for suggestions based on their designs and stuff like that, or how they could do more with Etsy and stuff like that. As Nipsey Hussle would say, cut out the middleman. No question. We want to try to keep as much money in our pocket. Now, you did some print on demand stuff in the past, or you dabbled in it?
Man, so I was at a point where it was kind of interesting. So printing, just for me, fulfilling it all myself, I knew it was out of my control without hiring an employee. And I didn't want to, outside of my family, I didn't want like random people in my house. I didn't want to go rent a spot, like just to get an employee type thing. So I tried print on demand. And so at first, like pre-quarantine, pre-whole COVID craze, it was doing pretty good. And then when everything came shambling down, delays were happening, quality change. And then, since I already have the knowledge of like how to take control of it, then I had to like just buy another printer or just go talk to some friends in the print industry. And I do recommend anybody who is doing print on demand to like watch people like you and learn how to print it yourself. Not even just like learn how to print it yourself, but like understand it.
What you going with. And because it's funny because, Charles from T-Shirt Millionaires is close, and I just left there, we were talking about that, is understanding the lingo and make sure you're paying the right price and you're getting what you want and you're able to understand the printers you're talking to. So, when it comes to doing print on demand, and my teaching basically is that you can put a lot of money back into your pocket by doing the work yourself. And sometimes there's a trade-off with that, right? So when you do the work yourself, you run into a few different hiccups, right? Basically, the time that you take producing stuff, you take away from the time that you normally would be doing the admin or selling or something like that. So did you experience that? Like, how was your
100%. So as soon as I was off production, you just take advantage of that time to build up more sales. So if you're taking less profit, you better take that time to 2x like your sales, so you can make up for it. But with everything, coming down, I had to take back control of it. So, that's it's the trade-off. There's nothing wrong with either or. It's just like how you weigh it. And you're going to have to take advantage of whatever time you have available.
So here's a question. Is like using a marketplace, is that like a set it and forget it type of deal?
What do you mean?
Like where I can set up my store and then I just, like once I set up a product and it starts generating sales, do I ever have to go mess with it again?
You kind of got to keep up with it. Got to post more stuff. At a certain point, though, you can kind of set it and forget it, and it will stabilize a little bit. It could go under a little bit, but I mean, like there was a year where I just didn't really touch it, and it didn't really grow. It shrunk a little bit, though, because there's going to be more people coming in. But, you know, you do have to maintain it, get some new designs up and stuff. So it's not necessarily the same as you like building up your own brand on like your own standalone website type thing.
So when it comes to like maintaining your store, outside of like upload new designs, is there anything else you got to do with like old products or something like that?
All right. So like as far as the listings, it'll relist itself. Like all of that type of stuff is automated. You just got to make sure it gets fulfilled, either by you, print on demand, whatever the case may be. But as far as that, you're just really still gonna have to focus on getting new stuff up to keep the sales growing.
How bad are the fees with Etsy?
All right, so the fees can be pretty bad because you know, it's like up to 10%, like 3% processing, 3% something fee, and then they have this new offsite ads type thing. In the end, it could end up being anywhere between like 10 to 25-ish%. Amazon's like 15%. But anybody who's never ran ads before on like their own standalone website, it can still get pricey and it's still difficult. And selling on a marketplace is a lot easier than you learning how to run ads. But you can do both. Selling on a marketplace can help build that confidence in you to step away from it. Once you get those sales in, learn how to do fulfillment, learn how to maintain designs, all of that type of stuff, and then realizing the fact that you're losing on these fees, and then backpedaling, going back to your own store, trying to run ads and whatnot. So it is like, it's kind of like a training wheels type thing.
Got you. So Etsy still seems to be like a place, and the thing I like about it, people are coming there ready to purchase. Unlike your own website, you don't got to generate your own traffic and push people. So if I'm correct, you have a course on all of this stuff. What's it called?
It's a T-shirt seller pro.
So if you want to become a T-shirt seller pro, go down in the description, click my guy's course. I hear people love it, and you should check it out. So anything else that you want to add? Tell the people.
Nah, just do it. Buy a heat press.
Buy a heat press and get. Hey man, I'm the heat press king right here, man. People seem like, hey, how many do you need? How many do you want, man? I do that so you guys can pick the right one to fit your needs. But definitely jump in and get started. I'm here with my man Rich from Hustle Ninjas. This has been your boy Stan Banks from T-Shirts Side Hustle. Peace.